cutting the road down.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, this special meeting for May 23rd, 2023. And since our fiscal officer is absent, I'll do the roll call. Special meeting for 6 p.m. Roll call, Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Hunter here, Trustee Good.
Here.
Okay, and purpose of the meeting is to discuss health insurance. So I will turn it over to the two of you.
Okay, well, thanks.
You take it over.
Okay. I brought a complete booklet. This is the plan as it was voted last time. But I'm totally flexible. I can kind of run through this. If you guys have some questions that you want to start shooting, has everybody kind of looked at the plan design and the information ahead of time? No? Okay. Let me kind of just run through it. As questions come, just go ahead and shoot. We're here to kind of answer your questions, help you guys out, make sure you understand the change, because it's been a couple, 2, 3, 4 years since we've made a change. So I want to make sure everybody understands the change. I don't think it's going to be a huge change. I think there's going to be a lot of added bonuses to the switch. And that's why I have Sean here to talk about some of that, because he knows the ins and outs of some of these programs a lot better than I do. And he's also here to answer any questions about network, whatever you may have in terms of that. So, and I really appreciate him coming, because it's not often I bring reps to my meetings. But for this one, I felt it was important because they do have a lot of enhanced programs as part of the program. So, all right, I'll jump into, go back to page, I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quick. We go to page 4. Michelle is who I work with closely, and this is the customer service team at Burnham and Flowers, who I partner up with for all my benefits for my municipalities. Michelle's the account manager. She oversees the entire state for Burnham and Flowers and PIVA. Anna Colin is her essentially right-hand person. She handles all the customer service, any issues, ads, terms, what have you. If somebody reaches out to me and I need to get some information, what have you, she's the one I reach out to, and she's really good. Courtney does anything having to do with the HRA, TPA, reimbursements, your card doesn't work, wherever you're going, won't accept your card, little things like that. She can help you out with that. If you can't get a hold of her, reach out to me. She responds to me really quickly. Feel free to contact me at any time for any issues, and I'll kind of coordinate and help you get to the right person. A lot of times I'll have you shoot me an email. I'll send an email to them and copy you so that you're in the loop, and then we'll get things taken care of. But they do a really good job. I don't have a whole lot of issues with my clients. So that's that. Any questions on the team? Have you guys talked to some Anna? And she's really good. Michelle uses the term, the cheerleader voice. Probably a little sexist, but I like it. She cheered. So it's that can-do, sweet attitude, and they all have it. So, and I think that's important. Next page is just my picture, my information, my cell phone's numbers on there. Feel free to give me a call on the cell phone. You can also text me. I respond to texts. But what I always tell everybody, let me know who you are and where you're from, because otherwise I have no idea. I've got 60 plus clients and I don't know how many employees involved. So you gotta let me know and I'll respond to you and all my particulars. I'll skip the next page. It just talks about key terms. Next page is the health reimbursement account. Okay, we've got all your information here. So you got the plan year. It's a calendar year for this plan. So what that means is your calendar year deductible, it starts in January, ends in December. Anything that you already incurred towards your deductible with the prior carrier, you will get credit for. I believe I think we're running a report. I'm not certain. It's either run a report or we'll have to generate EOBs and have it submitted. And I can't recall which. I think Anthem does run reports now. So are they doing that?
We'll max out pocket credit report.
Okay. So they are running it. Once we get that, we'll submit it. You'll get credit for that with Aetna. If you look on the right-hand side, this is just kind of the snapshot of the plan. You've got an individual deductible of $6,250 and a family deductible of $12,500. When one person hits that 6,250, then they would get into the rest of the out-of-pocket, and it's co-pays with the prescription drug. The second part would be a couple or a family, so the rest of the members would make the rest of the deductible, and then the next out-of-pocket. Okay, so the family out-of-pocket's $13,800. Family hits that, and everything's 100% at that point. Okay. So on your HRA, you guys have a deductible of $3,350. That's your HRA amount. And so what they did is they increased that amount from last year from 3,000 so that your out-of-pocket matches what you had before. So there's no difference in the out-of-pocket for either the single or the family. So your HRA is $3,350, family $6,800. If you meet the wellness criteria, it's an additional $1,000 and $2,000 for the family. The one thing we're going to do this year is kind of do a makeup. So in the past, you get this year whatever you did last year. Did everybody recall that? So if you met all your wellness last year, you get the full amount this year. You're going to get a chance to get the full amount this year, and it'll also carry over for next year. So it's kind of a makeup. So make sure you go out and get the wellness done, because you can max out this year, and then you're going to be maxed for next year, and then we'll go on the same schedule as we had before. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you look at the bottom blue part, employee pays, that's your out-of-pocket. That's your responsibility for an individual. After, if you get the regular HRA plus the wellness, your liability is $2,550 at the tail end. For a family, it's $5,000. Okay? Any questions on it? Go ahead.
Answer me this question, because so this plan right now is different than what we currently have, it just would expire on the first.
Correct.
Individual was 4 and 8. So once we met 8, it was discounted prescriptions and co-pays, and that's all we paid.
Correct.
This one, we get the 6,250, and then it's full out everything until 12/5, and then you don't get any discounts till 13.
Well, once you hit 6,250, the next level is 6,900.
Mhm.
Then it's prescription co-pays, and that's 100% after that. For family, it's at 13,800. Once you hit 12,500 combined,
Yes.
at 13,800, that's the difference. That's all prescription co-pays. So it's a little higher on the front end.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like it's $2,500 difference.
correct. But at the end of the day, your out-of-pocket is exactly the same. So you're not going to incur any more out-of-pocket than the prior plan.
Yes and no, you get more of that bulk up front.
Right.
So like if we had family deductible, or I did it at 6,250, and we still have to get to the family deductible at 12/5, then all that money's up front rather than the discounted prescriptions and co-pays.
That's
So if you go
true.
to the ER, my child or something, and $2,000 visit, it's $2,000 out of pocket right away rather than $15 for a prescription. When you hit that 8,000, that's the big difference.
Yeah, it's between that 4,000, it's what's 2,250 additional.
Which is hard with what we have now from the 8,000 to the 13. It's a big difference with just accumulating that much money. I mean, most everybody here wouldn't do that with prescription and co-pays unless you.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This one here is just, you're getting the brunt of it to get to that discount part at 12/5.
Yeah, no, I understand. It'll hit quicker if you've got a lot of major things that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of like, biggest thing was the prescription costs and other stuff like that. So those change every time we change carriers or whatever. So we were paying $15. Some people, like myself, was $15, and then it went to $400 for one prescription per this. So I had to use the good RX to kind of stay within that means so I could have the money on the card in case something happened.
Yeah,
Because we weren't gonna meet the deductible, individual wise, the whole family would, but they wouldn't have any money left over, then it's the full brunt. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, and actually, GoodRx is great. The only downside to that is it's not gonna go through your carrier, so you don't get credit for that towards your out-of-pocket. That's the downside. So, good question. Any other questions?
But if it's an expensive prescription and GoodRx is you know, 40 or 50 bucks, wouldn't you do yourself a favor by not using up your HRA dollars?
Yes.
Using good RX.
100 as
Yes,
opposed to
no.
spending 25 out of pocket or
So I'll
something?
use myself.
I'm just asking, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
So mine would be like $4,200 for the year, just one prescription, 30 days.
Mhm.
So then that means I'd have, what, $1,800 left over for my whole family.
Right,
So unless I did the wellness, which I usually always do, then that would get me there, but that would only, what, 2,800, 3,800 for the whole family, but then after that was good because it was just discounted prescriptions. This one here, you don't get any discounts till 12/5. You get what I mean? So it's.
the old one, it was, you paid co-pays after deductible, right? On the
Yeah, after the
plan?
4,000. I think what he's saying, it's a higher deductible.
This one's a 2-tier, also like what we had
Yeah.
before.
Mhm.
It's just the numbers are different. So we got the discounts at 8,000.
Okay,
Now we're
I'm
doing
following you,
discount
sorry.
for 12/5. So I mean, it's a substantial bit of money for, if you have a family. The insurance is great.
I thought we worked out there where the out of pocket was the same.
The out of pocket is the same. I think what he's saying is that, let's say for an individual, when you hit $4,000 in the old plan, then you hit co-pays.
Mhm.
So it's kind of small bits to get to the rest where you got 625, so it's a bigger deductible.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, if you got expensive prescriptions, you'll get there pretty quick. 4,000, you get there quick, but then it goes to co-pays after that. I think that's the point he's making. I understand that.
Well, like,
Just, just to get the discounts, it takes longer. You don't get them till later, so you have full brunt of the money up front. So you'll use the 6 pretty quick, if you have a family, let's say, but.
And what you're saying is you're using good RX because if something happens where you need the medical, that component,
Yes,
you don't want to get hit with, here's a $3,000 bill that you're out of pocket because you used it up on your prescription.
yeah, and it could bite you or it could save you, like the last year it saved me. I had to go to the ER and my daughter had to go to the ER, so twice, unforeseen circumstances, whatever. If I hadn't done that, then I would have had to pay quite a bit out of pocket.
Yeah.
Opposite for me, I had actually an emergency bill of 5,000 that I owed after insurance. So if we only have 6,000 on the card for the year, we're a family of 4, we're already at half, like we have half money left and we're only in May. So, I mean, it's very expensive nowadays for everything. So we're running out of money.
That's for like the previous, or this plan that we have now was easier on us, because if you had 8,000, when you just got to that, did the wellness, which helped out a lot. Then you only have the discounted prescriptions and stuff like that to get to 13,000. This way you have to go all the way to 12/5 to get any discounts, so.
Yeah, one person's gonna burn the card to get to the deductible, and then you're out of pocket for the rest until you hit the 13 essentially.
That's where the HSA card comes in so much better because we can contribute our money into the HSA card and still use that, to pay the out-of-pocket expense. Rather than the HRA card, it's just a credit card, which you hit your max, you're out of money. So that's where the difference between the two cards comes into play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a way to do a 2-tier like that. And with that, you backload the HRA and then you could allow for HSA dollars to be put in there up front. I mean, that is one way to do it. And then have payroll deducted HSA dollars and put your own HSA. I mean, that's a way if everybody's willing to do it. The problem I find though is a lot of people aren't willing to put money into an HSA account because it's money coming out of their pocket. But that's something that can be done.
Is there any disadvantages to that, Jim? Going HSA, HRA,
Well, if the employer's funding the HSA, that's a fixed cost.
okay?
So the nice thing about an HRA, you can fund, let's say $100,000 and you're only going to use 60 or 70,000 of that. That's where you save $30,000 or $40,000. If you were going to do the same thing with HSA, you're not saving anything because you're paying out 100,000 if you were going to do the same amount. So employers that do HSAs generally do a lot less. So you're not covering as much of the cost, and then it's up to the employee to have the additional cost. And it's each employee's different. Some people are paycheck to paycheck, don't have the money to put in an HSA account. And then what they end up doing is not get healthcare coverage.
So can you do a combination? Can you do a HRA, HSA combination?
You
So like if I wanted to put money out of my paycheck into my HSA because that's gonna be tax-free, tax deductible. Because I know I'm gonna have to pay that, some of that deductible. I could do that, but we'd still have that HRA where the township funded that.
Yeah, well, you can do that. You would have to backload the HRA. I forget what the requirement, do you remember what the requirements are for it? And I'll throw a number out. Let's say it's $2,000. So you wouldn't be able to pay an HRA until $2,000 was met. So it'd be backloaded. If you did debit cards, it wouldn't be turned on. You'd have to turn it on once you showed that you hit 2,000 towards that amount, towards your deductible. Then you could turn it on and have it backloaded after that. But you could have money payroll deducted into an HSA account for, say, that first 2,000. I don't know what the threshold is right now. I have to look it up.
HSA is kind of like flex spending, right?
It's different, and then it's the employee's money. And it
Okay.
rolls over. They don't have to, it's not use it or lose it. That's.
So we have a flex spending that is like, say if I said I wanted to put $1,200 in,
Yeah,
then a payroll deducted, however much per pay to equal 1,200, but it is front load.
you can do that.
And so basically the employer's taking a chance that you're gonna work the whole year.
Yeah,
If you do, there's minimal risk, assuming somebody doesn't use it all quit the next day, I guess.
it's use it or lose it. So what
It is
happens
use it or lose it.
is-
There's like a 3-month window after
yeah.
like the first quarter of the year.
And
So where employers benefit is if someone's healthy and they put money in there, whatever they don't use
Right.
stays with the employer. So that's kind of where it offsets. That's the benefit to the employer.
With which one?
Well, the flex spending account.
Yeah, sometimes those are nice too.
The flex spending, though, I thought that was money you put in.
It is.
It is.
That's money you put in. So,
But I'm
so-
saying it's front loaded where the
It is front
HSA is
loaded.
back loaded.
right,
So you
okay.
can't use it until you've put it all in, where a flex spending, it would be front loaded and you're basically paying it back through payroll deduction.
So you,
Tax.
and once you use it, it's gone, but it's still
Yes,
payroll, but it's still tax-free like an HSA.
yes. And if you don't use it, like within the first quarter of the following year, it's gone.
Okay,
That is the big downside to those, is if you
With the flex spending.
overestimate how much you think you want and you can't use it all. I mean, I've seen people out just buying stuff to buy just to not lose their money.
Is the flex spending different than like the health savings account?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
well, and with flex spending, I believe you can go, if you need ibuprofen or
Yes,
something
that's
like
what I
that,
see
you can
people
go
on.
to CVS and get those products.
That's what I see.
And
them
use
load
that
on
too.
At the end of the
Yeah.
year, Band-Aids and
Yeah.
Tylenol. and-
Yeah, those was
The ACA eliminated all the over-the-counter stuff unless you had a prescription. And I want to say it was a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was under Trump or whatever, they threw it back in there. So now they put it back where you can use those dollars for over-the-counter medications and all kinds of stuff, weight loss and what have you. But you can also use it for dental and vision expenses as well.
So you could have a flex spending and an HRA.
Correct. Yep.
Now, that doesn't have to be everybody. It can just be who wants.
Whoever wants to select it, yep. And we can, Board of Flowers can administer that, so we could put a flex spending program in place. And that might be a way to kind of cover some of these additional expenses.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, I'd rather like,
Exactly, that's the
I
thing.
do safer, those things obviously, but the upfront cost, the big upfront cost sometimes.
Well, the advantage too is that it's pre-tax
Yeah,
and it comes out tax-free. And like, if you know you got an expensive prescription, you're gonna probably max out.
I didn't know I did.
Well, is that a one-time thing then?
Well, when we changed from Medical Mutual to Anthem.
Oh, okay.
Changed from $15 to $400.
Okay, it's okay, I got
Every
you.
time we changed carriers, and the same with my daughter, we had to jump around to different medications.
I got you. This is a different formula.
It would cover it all.
Yeah,
So it's more like so much more legwork up front because it's like they don't cover it, and then you go to the doctor, well, you have to make your deductible, so it's a $200 upfront right now because you.
Gotcha.
I've never done this before.
yeah.
World, when you go to the chiropractor, it's like, well, you only get 8 visits and you have to pay $300 up front. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
If you have met your deductible. I never ran into that situation. It was like, so a lot of the stuff you just had to figure out on your own.
Yeah, but then, you know, for those that know that they're gonna have certain costs that are gonna occur every year, it's a great way to budget for you. Look and say, okay, this is how much I'm gonna spend this year and I need this additional money, and then you can arrange to have that put into a flex spend. That might be the way to do it, is add a flex spend. And it's not really gonna cost the township money.
Yeah, I mean, I know it makes those dollars, you know, they're taking out pre-tax. So there's a little bit of savings there. I mean, in my opinion,
You lose that after like a year or so.
usually it's,
15 months, I think. Don't you get like
Yeah,
a
you got
window
a
after?
period
That's-
after the
yeah,
year.
you got your plan year, and then usually like within the first quarter of the next year, you've got to get those funds used up or else they are gone.
But the HSA does not expire, correct?
Correct, and
No.
HSA does not.
State.
But
That's the-
can that be front loaded or does it have to be back loaded?
Anything can be front loaded. If it's employee funds, you'd be cutting a check up front on your end. If it's an employer, then they're cutting that check up front.
Do you know what those kind of I guess, figures were for an HSA with the township? I mean, I know, it's hard to say. How those look, I mean, they wouldn't obviously still be the same numbers, correct?
It's all depends on what the township wants to fund and, you know, what the budget, you know.
Because I understand sometimes that would maybe cost them more money, and in essence, like looking at it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the, backside of it, if the deductible is, say, you had to meet the 2,000 or 2,500, and they put in there every year, is that better than 6,000, and not everybody's using it? That's kind of what I was thinking, and then the 2,000 for the wellness. So sometimes that, that's a lot of money that they're putting up front.
Yeah, well, that's the advantage of HRAs. Most of the township, I mean, I can't think any townships that have HSAs with.
Yeah.
Because the township benefits on the healthy individuals that don't use it. And those that are less healthy, and generally it's those of us who get older tend to use more and you benefit as you age.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a better option with us having families. A lot of us have families and kids that we are going through that money. Is it beneficial for the township money wise to look into an HSA? Maybe it wouldn't cost them as much money down the road.
Well, like I said, it's a
HSA
fixed
is fixed
cost.
cost.
Or I'm
So
sorry, the savings
The
account.
flex spend, I think flex spending is a good option because it doesn't cost us anything. Does
I
it
think
cost
that's
us
something we could
anything?
talk about.
Some administrative cost,
Yeah,
and I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot because they're already doing the HR administration, so I don't know if it's a whole lot. I'm not sure what they charge for that, but it's not gonna be a lot. But that's something easily to be put in place in conjunction with the plan.
It would definitely help out if we had something that we could load into an account. That way we're not paying all that out of pocket, and we can use our money that's tax-free going on to FSA and HSA.
Yeah, yeah, and then the other nice thing is you can either spend on over the counter or like I do. I think my wife and I just put 1,000 in a year. At the end of the year, we both wear glasses. I have contact. We just buy glasses or contacts, or she gets a pair of prescriptions glasses. We make sure we use it up. Try and get as close as possible. So you do have that ability.
The nice thing about.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you realize, oh, I got changed. What am I in prescription sunglasses? I mean, you kind of be flexible, more flexible with the flex spending than the HRA.
Yeah,
There's even-
because I mean, our dental's already maxed out for the year with one visit. And
Mine's always maxed out. Dental is
$1,000
not,
out of pocket last week.
dental is not up with the times. I mean, even the best dental insurance. It's not awesome.
So that'd be nice, like we talked to the other day on the phone, if those other options are out there for actually, for also dental, so it's $5 or $6 a pay, I'd be.
Yeah, I think I sent the chief, FEMA's got multiple options and some are richer than the ones you guys have. And
When's our dental on?
we can switch at any time.
Okay, we're just rolling.
I think they haven't had an increase in like 9 years in
Yeah,
any of the plans.
I didn't think we've done anything in a
So
while.
it's 1,000 right now, so it's like thinking in the x-rays a year, and if anything else after that, it's out of pocket. So.
Yeah.
Cleaning counts towards the out of pocket or
No.
Well, you get 2 cleanings and that's what it covers
And
pretty much.
X-rays.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
It
no,
only
that's,
covers the
there's,
cleaning.
that's not enough.
2 cleanings and an
A
extra.
couple cleanings and x-rays, part of the preventative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that-
You get like
that
a
is
cavity
their
No,
annual.
No, that's not part of
Cavity or anything, I mean, last week, my daughter had one. I had one fixed, and so my wife just within there, it's $1,000 I paid out of my pocket. So that was tough, that was small.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Now, that's another thing,
That's
you can
about-
use the flexible spend to fund for that kind of stuff.
if we could, just put it back, I mean, you can do it any way you want, put it in your own account and pay it when you get to it or whatever, blah, blah. But
I always feel like if you're, and this is my personal opinion, you don't miss it as much when you just have it payroll deducted as opposed to
Right.
put it in my account and then moving it to another account. It's,
Anything to help out.
Yeah.
Well, and if it, say, for example, someone's gonna have braces. You can plan for that because say you gotta put $2,000 towards braces. That's $2,000 off the top of your taxes,
Mhm.
which is significant.
and then that with a flex spending, like I said, that's front loaded. So you don't have to wait the full year to get it all built up. Who plans for that a year in advance? Nobody. You usually know, oh, so-and-so's hitting this age, time to hit the orthodontist. So that is the nice thing about the flex spending is that it's front loaded and basically the employee deductions are just basically repaying that. But it's pre-tax.
Pay yourself.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's your own money. It's just you're getting it front loaded instead of an HSA where you have to build it up to be able to use it.
Not necessarily because Mifflin front loaded all. I was there, they front loaded 4,000.
We front load the HRA. We're talking about the options of HSA and flex spending.
No, I was just letting you know, the HSA, they do front load, just depends on the township, I guess.
Yeah, well, with us front loading the HRA. I mean,
Any other questions on that? Well, while we're talking, Ed, I'm gonna let Sean kind of go through some of these programs. Was there any other programs that we sent the information out on that you guys had specific questions? So Edna's got some different programs that are part of the package, Teladoc. Why don't you kind of go over some of the stuff you guys offer?
Yeah, I'll talk about some of the programs we have. We've got a lot of really cool stuff built into our plans for free. The first one I'm going to talk about here is very, very nice. It essentially gives you $25 per member. So somebody with, 4 members of their family is going to get $100 per quarter to spend at CVS Pharmacy on what we call OTC items. So when you go into a CVS Pharmacy, you're going to see different items tagged around the store that have OTC written above them. You're going to be able to use $25 per member per quarter at that CVS to purchase those items. And that's going to be preloaded on your member ID cards. So all you're going to need to do to use that benefit is to check out at the front register with your member ID.
And is OT over the counter? Is that what
Yeah,
it's-
OTC.
So it's FSA, HSA.
Yeah, it's
type
typically
item.
HSA eligible type items, so your cold medicine, bandages. I went and just check out some of the items that it includes. It includes a ton of stuff. So if you go into your local CVS, if that CVS participates, which most of them participate right now, all of them are gonna participate towards the end of the year. This is a very new program. You'll be able to use $25 per quarter per member at the CVS pharmacy. So kind of along the lines of having an FSA, a family of 4 gets $400 per year to spend on these OTC items at CVS. So it's a really, really nice benefit. There's no catch to it. It's free money. All you need is your member ID. The only caveat is that $25 per member does not roll over. You have to use it each quarter. Any questions?
Is each quarter like every 4 months? Is that what that means?
Yeah,
Every
3 months. So January, February, March resets. All you need is your member ID. When you check out at the front register, they'll be able to tell you your balance. You can also order items online. So if you don't feel like going into the store, you can order online. Again, it's all through your member ID, so you don't need any type of debit card or any other information. And this is a brand new program. Again, it's free money. There's no catch to it. You'll see the items labeled that you can purchase. And when I went to the store and checked this out recently, it was a ton of stuff. So again, family of 4, you get $400 a year. It's pretty nice.
I use that for my mother. She has it through medical and she is 110 a quarter. And I order online. And they even have toothpaste.
I was gonna say, with
It's-
toothbrushes, there's all kinds of stuff.
We stole the program from Medicare.
Yeah.
So Aetna has a very big Medicare presence. This was a really popular program, so we added it to our small group portfolio.
Yeah, and even like certain kinds of lotions and all, they have all kinds of stuff.
Free shipping.
Believe it, yeah. Do you have to go to Walmart?
I use it at CVS.
All right, the other cool program we have, this is gonna be a benefit after you reach your deductible, is we do $0 visits to Minute Clinics. So any CVS Minute Clinic, I think there's 27 around Columbus, you have a $0 copay at that CVS Minute Clinic after you hit your deductible. You will get a discounted rate before your deductible's met. But Aetna is owned by CVS, so a lot of our perks are gonna be centered around CVS and the CVS stores. The Minute Clinic can do about 80% of the things your PCP can do. So if you have a sick kid, you need to get somebody in right away, you can book online, you can get your kid into that Minute Clinic pretty quickly. Again, before you hit your deductible, you're gonna have a discounted rate compared to what normal people would pay. After you hit your deductible, it's all $0 copays and there is no limit on that benefit.
What is that deductible? You know,
For your plan,
for the Minute Clinic before you hit your
It's your
deductible?
regular.
so the service rendered is going to be what the charge is based on.
Okay,
So there's not necessarily a fixed cost to use that I can
Depends on
give you,
what-
it's gonna depend on what they do.
okay.
But after you hit your deductible, again, it's all $0.
But there's a discount by being an Aetna member when you go.
You
in
do
there.
get a discount for being a member.
Okay.
And that's kind of the theme with us is we have a bunch of $0 type services. So I have a preventative drug list that I can share with Jim. That's all $0 on those drugs. We offer $0 copays for all outpatient mental health and substance abuse as well. So any of those services, you'll have a $0 copay for.
Is that after the deductible though?
Yes, on the HSA, it's pretty much everything's gonna be after
So
the
it's
deductible.
discounted after you hit the deductible, right?
Right, so after you hit the deductible, you have a no copay for that.
So after they've paid a family, has paid $5,000 out of it.
Yes.
6250 for an individual.
So if you were looking at a PPO style plan, all of this stuff would be upfront, obviously, but with the HSA, you do have to satisfy that deductible first. Next thing I'll talk about is just the Aetna Health app. So we have an app and we also have a mobile website that you can use to pull your mobile ID card. You can also use cost estimator tools. You can do network searching. Something that people really don't know is that 2 doctors right next to each other will charge different prices for the same procedure. So just make sure that you're kind of treating this like you would anything else. Do some shopping, do some research, go on the app, look at 2 doctors, what they would charge for the same service. A lot of times it's going to be vastly different. The cost to go to Ohio State as opposed to Ohio Health could be a vastly different cost for the same exact thing. So we do have tools in place that allow you to do those cost comparisons and get an idea of what you're going to spend. Next thing we have here is called Teladoc. So Teladoc offers virtual PCP visits, virtual dermatology visits, and virtual psychology visits. There is going to be a cost up front on the HSA. After you hit your deductible, everything goes down to a $0 copay. So there's going to be no cost to use Teladoc once you hit your deductible. Any questions on any of that stuff so far?
Teladoc is what you guys already have through HealthiestYou. That's perfect.
Oh, okay, that was in there.
The nice thing about your current program is everything's zero copay, including the mental health and dermatology. There's no copay at all for that.
You sent me all these, right?
Yeah.
Did I send them to you? All,
On-
everything he's sharing on his screen?
No,
I will, if you can distribute that to everybody.
So this program here is an interesting benefit. This is very unique to us. It's called PeerFit. So this is just an app that you go into the App Store and download called PeerFit. What you're going to find is that when you log into the app with your Aetna member ID, we preload 40 credits per month onto this app for you, and it's a way for you to take free gym classes. So the PeerFit network is pretty big. There's a ton of gyms around Columbus that are in this network. I think there's about 80 gyms. it's more boutique style stuff, so we're working on adding like a YMCA, but right now it's a lot of kickboxing, HIIT, yoga classes, that type of thing. You book those classes through that app with the credits that are already preloaded. So in Ohio, the classes cost between 3 and 4 credits to book. So you can take up to 10 free gym classes per month using this program. There is no cost to you whatsoever. So again, it's called PureFit. You just download it from the App Store. When you log in, you'll log in with your Aetna member credentials, and you can start taking those free classes. So again, this is really unique to us. I've had a lot of success with people who live in rural areas as well, adding their local gyms to the network. So it could take about a month, but if you submit a referral for that gym, we can even get your local gym added to this program as well, so you can take free classes there. Really unique program, really cool. A lot of these classes will cost $25, $40, $50 or more to take, so you're getting those 10 free classes per month. It's hundreds of dollars you can take advantage of. If you've always wanted to try, some class that you've never tried before, again, it's free, no cost. Definitely check this one out, it's cool. Okay, next program is just a discount program. So basically, for being an Aetna member, you're going to get a lot of discounts to a lot of different things that are generally health related, but maybe not. So I kind of equate this to having like a AAA card. If you're booking a hotel, say, hey, I'm an Aetna member, do I get a discount? If you go get chiropractic services, hey, I'm an Aetna member, do I get a discount? A lot of times they're going to give you a discount on that sort of thing. So pretty much anytime you're booking anything, maybe you're getting new car insurance, say you're an Aetna member, you'll likely get a discount. So pretty much anything you do, say you're an Aetna member, you might get a discount. This is a pretty wide-reaching program.
Is that in this packet, all that information?
I don't believe this is in.
No, not in this.
I've got it all via email. I'm sending it to the chief right now so he can send it out to everybody.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that's not going to be covered, like acupuncture, it's not going to be covered on the health plan. You'll get a discount if you just say you're an Aetna member. You give your card, you get a discount for that sort of thing. So anytime you're doing anything, maybe it's bariatric surgery, a lot of stuff that's not covered, you're going to have some sort of discount for. You just have to tell that provider because they're not going to know to automatically give you a discount on that type of stuff.
Sean, are these things all listed on the Aetna app or online?
That's what you get a discount for?
Well, all the free, all the programs we're going over.
Yeah, so I have all this information on those.
Okay. We've got that, but I didn't know if they also had it online on the website.
It might be on the website. It's just everything is very plan specific. There's for different size groups, things are different.
Okay.
I think they don't put that stuff out there, so you don't.
I'm sending it to you.
Okay.
Thursday. All these flyers that he's going over.
Can you access this if you put your member number in? Like
The
to get the
discount?
CVS stuff, will, like on my chart or something. Will all of this that's available to us come up?
Not necessarily. So the app might have some information on some of the programs that are available, but that's why, we have a meeting like this is to educate, that's why we send out flyers and stuff. So a lot of this is like, healthcare is very consumer driven, just like anything else. And you kind of have to dig and you have to look. And I know it sucks because, dealing with insurance is always brutal, but you do have to kind of dig around and shop like you would shop for anything else. So the answer to that is not everything is going to be able to be accessed online. You'll be able to find this somewhere, but that's, you can always reach out for Jim for some information, or if you have some sort of surgery or something coming up and you're saying, hey, is there any additional details you can provide? You can reach out to him, and his team does a really good job at, coordinating that stuff and working with that and get you what you need.
So I'll check with Michelle. You guys have your own employee toolkit for all your programs on the flowers. I'll see if we can add all these discount stuff there. If not, for my direct clients, I build my own toolkits for each one of my clients. I can build one for you guys and make all that available for each well. So it's purely a link.
Yeah, we do have an app. It's just called the Aetna Health app.
Okay, because who we have now, Anthem, they have all that stuff on their app where you can access all that discount stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, it could be,
You can look up doctors and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can do all that for sure. Some of those programs might be on there. I don't want to tell you definitively because you have a different program than I do, because I'm an employee, I'd be getting insurance, and I don't, some of my stuff shows up on there, but I'm not sure if it'll show up on your end. The next program that I'll talk about is called EAP, so Employee Assistance Program. This is a program that you can call for pretty much anything. So if you are looking for financial advice, if you are looking for legal tips, if you're looking for adoption counseling or childcare services, this is basically just a hotline that you or anybody in your household can call. They don't necessarily have to be on the insurance. Anybody can call these numbers, and it's essentially just a free resource for you to be able to look for different things that you might not know where to go for a starting point. So, for myself personally, when I moved to Columbus, I was looking for a PCP, and when you just search for a PCP, there's so much information there. How do you know who's good, who's not? I actually called the EAP myself. Hey, is there anybody you'd recommend? I live in this area, looking for somebody here, and they were able to help me out. So it's really just kind of a all-encompassing, call the phone number. If you need help with anything, maybe you're looking for a local vet that Aetna might recommend, you can do that through the EAP. That extends to anybody in the household, again, who's not necessarily on the insurance. So if you have a parent that lives with you, they can call in as well and also utilize the service.
So my question is, when you talk about EAP, if someone is in a crisis, do you have a different EAP number, or I'm gonna get the person that's gonna tell me where to get pet insurance and versus help me when I in a
Free
crisis?
counseling,
Yeah,
they say same 800 number, right?
Same 800.
Yeah.
so do they route you to someone, or how does that work?
They'll just funnel you to either somebody who can help specifically, or they'll direct you to resources that can help you.
Okay.
It's almost like you call in, it's a directory basically for, hey, I'm looking for a local vet. Can you
So
help
it's
me?
not a true EAP. I'm in a
It's not a
mental health crisis right now. I'm not gonna be, I can call in there and say, hey, I'm in a mental health crisis, where I'm gonna get a trained psychologist that's gonna be able to help me at that point in time.
You would not be able to get a psychologist on the phone, but they could recommend you to a psychologist that would help. So it's not
not a service.
It's not just a
So it's a
hotline.
little different than a traditional EAP.
Yeah, it's not just a hotline that has, psychologists on call. They're gonna be able to direct you to a psychologist that can help.
Which then falls back on our insurance instead of
Yeah.
onto the EAP.
Yeah.
that pays for it.
So the EAP is really just like a phone book. It's a directory as a resource. So if you don't know where to go for something, it's a good resource to call. Talked about the MinuteClinic, and that does it for the benefits. So again, a couple things that I would focus on that I think are the best benefits. The OTC program, free money on your ID card, and then the PeerFit program, because you get a ton of value out of this. I think those are two really nice resources. Any questions on anything?
Aetna still, do a lot of doctors and such still accept Aetna? Because I had thought Aetna, a lot of places didn't accept Aetna anymore. That's still pretty.
So there is no gaps in coverage in terms of network, especially on the network that you all chose in the state at all. So less than 2% of our claims are out of network.
Okay, I just don't want to change the
State.
pediatrician.
Yeah. And I don't want to say definitively too that they're definitely in network. They might not be.
Right.
Some pediatricians, they might not be accepting new patients. They might accept you because they know you and you've been there. For somebody who's coming in, they might say, hey, why aren't you accepting Aetna? So like I said, less than 2% of claims out of network. There's really not that much out of network in Ohio at all.
In fact, their network, they actually lease out to smaller insurance companies because it's so robust nationwide.
Like MMO, for a long time, MMO rented our out-of-state networks. So we're kind of looked at as.
I think they still are, aren't they?
It's being terminated.
Oh, it is, okay.
Because we wrote the clinic now.
Okay,
I'm mad about that.
oh, I can imagine. They haven't let us know as brokers yet.
Yeah, it's coming. So, the network really shouldn't be an issue.
No,
That should be kind of,
I've got my insurance through Nationwide Children's Hospital where my wife works, and we have Aetna, and we've never had a problem.
Okay, that's good.
Any other questions on the? Yeah,
How soon will insurance cards be sent out? I'm in the midst of physical therapy. I have another surgery coming up. I do infusions every 8 weeks, all of which has to be pre-approved. I need information, so in the midst of my physical therapy, I don't have to stop for a week or two because I don't have the proper information. When is that gonna be available?
We've got everything submitted, right?
Yeah, we just have to get the installation packed up and, hopefully soon.
But
You'll
they'll
have
be
access-
available on the app, maybe a little sooner.
You'll have access to the mobile ID card a lot faster than you will a physical ID card. So I'd really recommend downloading the app.
It's based on social security number to get in?
Yeah.
The primary?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you get there? Tell everybody how we get there.
You go to the App Store and you download the Aetna Health app.
There was there was one of those little shots.
There
on
was-
that that I.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
You can also go to Aetna.com and log
Okay.
in that way as well. You don't necessarily need to have it on your phone.
Okay,
So do we need login information from you all to be able to get onto this app?
Once everything's set, it'd be your social security number. Taking it.
And no
Primary-
password, no group?
Primary social security.
So the Ed social security number.
I think you guys provide temporary ID cards up front, right?
We do give temporary ID cards up front.
Okay.
You'll
So-
probably be able to log into the app and get your card that way or the mobile site faster than we'll even get the temp ID.
Okay.
And when will that be available?
Whenever we finish the installation.
And when will that be?
Do you have a timeline on what you're expected to be completed?
Not at this point.
It'll be before the 7-1 start, right? Or 6-1 start.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for sure.
Well, I mean, you've got a holiday weekend coming up. It's already the 23rd of the month. You don't have many days. Are you gonna be able to do it?
Yeah, hopefully. I can't give you a definitive answer on that. It just depends on the
You've heard
employer's
about
fate.
wishing one hand and shitting the other and see what gets full first. I
You
mean,
know, installing a new insurance is always complex. There's stuff that the employer needs to do, there's stuff that the broker needs to do, and there's stuff that we
We've
need
done
to do.
everything. We've
I
done
think we're
everything
done with
signed,
all
correct?
the
Yeah,
paperwork on our side.
yeah.
okay, what about prescriptions? Are we doing mail-in prescriptions again?
You'll have access to mail-in prescriptions.
And who is that through?
That's through CVS.
So are you saying there's a chance you might not have this ready? Do we need to go another month with what we have?
I can't say at this point. I can follow up tomorrow and make sure we're
We'll
on
let you
track.
know. I think
Ready
we'll
for
probably be okay. I mean, I think we got everything done in a timely fashion. We'll check tomorrow and let you know.
I can definitely follow up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
so the mail-in prescriptions are through CVS?
Yes. You can also get mail-ins through other pharmacies as well. That's one of the nice things about us, is we don't exclude any pharmacies. So if you go to Walgreens and you like Walgreens, or you go to your local pharmacy and you like them, you can get your scripts filled there. There's gonna be no cost difference between using us or using.
Okay, so we have Carolon now as our mail-in prescription, right? With. with
Anthem.
Anthem. So are you telling me I can still use Carolon and just give them my Aetna information and you'll pay for it?
Is that exclusive to Anthem?
I don't know.
Mail-in
You wouldn't
forms?
know.
It's called Carolyn?
Isn't that the name of the mail-in?
Parallel.
Probably not for mail-in, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, they're
Not if
they're
it-
like a third party through Anthem, and they take care of that stuff.
Yeah, so,
Okay,
so
I would think you'd have to switch
I'm
that.
gonna have to switch.
Yeah.
And it'll probably beat me when we go home. But, I mean, I warned Nancy, I won't, just can't keep my mouth shut about this. Why are we changing? I mean, what's
There's
the,
about $100,000 in savings.
that's what I wanna know. Are
Yeah.
we saving money? Is it just cause your commission's bigger?
Actually, we don't.
Like,
Changing is such a hassle that we don't really like it.
Well, that's
That's
why
why
it
we-
just seems like this is such a pain in the ass.
It
unless
is.
You're really saving a
So,
lot of money.
When it's time to renew, my first question is always, what's it gonna cost to just renew what we have, no changes? And the last plan year, that's what we did, because the renewal came in a little, what was it,
It went below it like a 3.9 or something.
It was like, okay, that's livable, we're just gonna do it and not mess with all this. Well, then this year they came in at close to like 10%. So, that's why we explored the options because,
Oh, and that's fine. I'm
yeah,
not
no,
talking
but
about
that's the
saving
reason.
money.
We
It's
all
just-
know it's a complete pain in the butt
Oh,
to
yeah.
change, but
And all of these flyers and stuff that you're referencing, could you perhaps email them to Ed?
I emailed them to you.
You did?
I did.
Have them.
I emailed them to you,
Brandy.
Chief, didn't I send them to you too? I thought I sent them to you. Did you not?
You'll
I
have to
think
give
you
me,
did unless you just
actually, I
sent
sent
them
them to
the last
Rob
day or
to
two.
copy everybody on.
Oh, I thought I.
Well, Rob-
I'll look and see. You may have. I know Reed.
Yeah, he's gonna print them for
We'll
everybody.
get them to
Do
everybody.
you want them emailed?
Yes.
Okay, then can I have your email?
Yeah, it's Hague. Yeah.
My email's in here too. If anybody needs a copy of all this, feel free to shoot me an email.
And if, yeah, if you just shoot them to me again at my.
That- I copy you on everything I send.
I know, and I swear I didn't see it. I'll look in my spam folder.
That's all right.
Because some of your stuff does end up there.
Okay,
For some reason.
I'll send it
Like
there.
you're telling it you're not spam and you're on my contact.
Well, sometimes with a lot of attachments, it goes in there automatically.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit attachment.
So are the trustees then going to make a decision about having a flex spending account? That's something you all will have to vote on, right?
Yes.
And decide if you want to do.
It's-
And
What's
you're
the
gonna-
feeling of everybody here? About flex spending.
I'm just frustrated because our deductible went up and we only have 6,000 on the card. So it would, and you know.
Well, it's 8,000 with the wellness on the card, right?
They didn't credit us for it. We did it and they did not give it to us. So,
Reach out to Courtney.
Well, just let us know.
We have that
Reach
on
out to
our-
me if you have an issue with it. And it's also going up to 6,800. So you're gonna have, if you get the wellness one, it's $8,800.
it's just that deductibles for the family is so high. So it's just, you know. I know my son's medication wasn't covered under this insurance, so we did have to utilize GoodRx a lot. And I feel like if we're utilizing GoodRx, then what's the point in paying for insurance?
That's the downside.
That's-
So,
that's-
yeah, we've had to do the same thing with two of them, and it doesn't go toward your deductible, but you're
Right.
using the money.
Yeah,
Which sucks with both sides. I mean, for the township that's giving us the money and us that's spending it.
Yep.
Because it's not going towards the deductible.
no, I totally get that.
The biggest thing is what she's saying, is you gotta jump to 12.5 and everything. You don't have that 8,000, where if they gave us a 6 and a 2, I know I said this already, but then we just little bits and pieces until we got to that point, but now it's all of it. I mean,
Well, we can't afford to put, $1,000 from each
Yeah, no,
paycheck
but,
in
I
an
mean-
HSA, we're a one income family. like,
Sure.
yeah.
for us personally, I mean, you could.
There's limits on, you couldn't put that much.
I know, I know, I'm not saying, I'm just. saying
Oh,
for it
okay,
to
I was
make-
gonna say, yeah, you
No, I
can't.
just mean for it to make sense to have that, you wanna put a good amount on it.
I forget what the limit is on a flex spend, it's.
I gotta look, it goes up every year.
I can look it up, there's the
Yeah.
IRS guidelines,
Yeah.
I just looked it up the other day and I can't remember.
So if you use GoodRx on a prescription, you can, whatever your prescription ends up costing, you can still use the debit card to pay
We
that.
have not
No,
been-
because it's not going through the insurance. That's the downside of it.
So I can't even use the debit card if I use GoodRx, I can't use.
It's gotta go through the medical insurance.
And you're telling me I'm gonna pay full price for my prescriptions until I reach my deductible?
Well, it's a
Then I'm
discounted
gonna
price.
copay?
It's whatever Aetna's discounted price is.
And about what does that run? I mean, are we talking?
It all depends on the prescription. I mean, it runs gamut. I mean, there's prescriptions that are $10,000 a month. There's prescriptions that he mentioned that are
$1,000 off.
no copay.
So Jim.
Yeah.
That's what I can't figure out. So if everybody has $8,000 on their card, whether you go in network or out network or go to GoodRx, why shouldn't we be able to use that to pay for our health care? Why is that card just limited to the insurance that we have?
Because what they do is they use the carrier to adjudicate the claims and substantiate those claims. And if you're going out of network, there's balance billing and all, I mean, you could end up blowing that card on one visit on a network, because the deductibles are much higher, the out-of-pockets are much higher contract, so they can balance bill you. Even when you get to the high amounts, whatever the carrier doesn't pay, they can bill you that. So you don't want to go out of network. If it's an emergency, it's different. They'll treat it as in network, but anything else,
But,
would you say 98% is
but
network?
good RX. Good RX.
prescription?
So Jamie goes and pays for Good RX, which is he's paying $15 for this prescription.
Yeah,
If he does it in network and sends it to CVS, and it costs him $300 for that prescription is what it would normally charge him, but he gets a discount, it's still a higher amount. That's $300 that goes against that.
Stop it.
Right?
that's correct.
But wouldn't we benefit better if I paid $15 here off my card and then I have 80 whatever left to use for other things?
I think if you're paying $15 at Good RX and it's only $15, it's good for the township and it's good for Jamie.
So you're saying you can't use your.
Yeah, you can't use the debit card for anything that doesn't go through the carrier. So if it's Good RX, you can't, because that's considered out of network. Now,
Is it still?
if you don't, it's not caught, you know.
So like, I got hurt on duty, went to the chiropractor, it was denied. I had to pay out of pocket because they weren't in network. I used my card, is that not allowed then?
So if you're hurt on duty, would that really go through medical? Wouldn't that be
Because it
workman's
falls,
comp?
it falls back on the insurance because it wasn't approved by
Workman's comp?
works comp.
Subrogation.
Yeah,
That'd be subrogation.
yeah.
What?
It's called subrogation. It's basically, as an insurance carrier, we can fight with the workers' comp to argue that workers' comp should have been the one to pay the claim.
I got an attorney, I've had an attorney for a while, but even with that, it was still denied. I use that card anyways.
Yeah,
So if you're saying that you'll go with workers' comp, do we contact you about that?
well, I don't deal with the workman's comp, but if something's on job, it would be workman's comp.
Subrogation?
If the carrier pays for it, carrier can go back at workman's comp
Oh,
and fight that so that they're not paying it, it's workman's comp. Which helps you guys because workman's comp pays for it, that claim doesn't hit the insurance and it helps your loss ratio.
But if the claim's denied, and I think what he's saying, his claim was denied through workers' comp. They
Yeah.
Denied his claim.
Yep.
So now he Tyler chooses to go to a chiropractor. Then workers' comp already denied that claim and he exhausted that route. Now he wants to go to his chiropractor and use his card.
Okay,
But if it's out of network, it's gonna.
yeah, I would try to find
Using
an
your
in-network
card.
chiropractor.
If you would use it, if it was in network, it would be less.
It's
Less
so
cost.
expensive. Yeah.
But
$60.
that was an unexpected expense because it was an on-duty injury. I went to a chiropractor, wasn't planning to be on insurance at all. Until I got denied, and they're like, hey, you gotta pay for all those 10 visits that you've already gone to.
Oh,
Now
okay.
we're not in network,
Yeah,
so now you're paying out of pocket.
yeah.
Even in network, it's $60 a visit after insurance and you only get 8 visits. And we.
How many visits, how many visits do we get in the chiropractic care in this one? Do you know?
I hope so.
Is that on the SPC?
Says 60 visits per year. Page 4. Says page 4 on the bottom. 60 visits per year.
Yeah, it's a chiropractor, yeah. So,
Okay, which page?
Page 4.
I think we had that.
it's at the very bottom, page 4 of the
It's on the right. here.
SPC, it's this.
Oh,
There's 2 pages.
sorry.
It's
I know what you're talking about.
4 6.
But what I'd recommend in the future, make sure you stay in network, go to a chiropractor in case it's denied. I mean,
Well, I've never had one do that before, so that's why I was.
Yeah, I'm surprised they deny it.
Quick prescription question. Doesn't it have a formulary that's available online?
We do.
And it has everything there as whether you're gonna cover something.
I'm looking over here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll tell you what tier.
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm diabetic and my shots for 3 months are about $1,200. I got in here a little bit late, but will I be able to put that on my card or not? I'm kind of in the same boat Glenda said she was, when this switches over, it hit us pretty hard.
Yeah, yeah, you'll be able
Put that
to,
on the card.
yeah, as long as you stay in network, as long as, they've got a great network, so you should be in network. Make sure they're taking that. Yeah, it would be covered by the card.
And the point kind of was when this changes, yeah, it needs to happen, taken over immediately, I guess what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you.
I mean, there's not gonna be any kind of lapse in coverage. We're
No, there's not.
If we have to stay with our other one for another month to get the paperwork, then that's what we do. But I don't think we're in
You'll
that
be, I
position.
mean, no matter what, you'll be covered 6-1, and we'll work with you and make sure everything gets covered. If anybody's got a certain circumstance, if there's an issue, we can talk to the doctors, let them know as soon as you're approved, get your information, that type of thing. We'll work with you.
Your coverage with us is always gonna start 6/1, even if the installation wasn't complete until 6/10. So when you hit 6/1, any claims that are incurred starting 6/1 are always gonna be covered, even if you don't have your ID in hand yet.
How's that gonna work with people that need like pre-op though?
So we'd be able to work with those situations.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it can happen.
Yeah, we'll
There are
make-
ways to expedite certain things, and
Okay.
it's a situation.
Just communicate with me and let me know, and we'll get the right people involved.
Going back to the chiropractic here, this is not plan specific, this is generalized. So because it says to see your plan document, where do we find that?
Well, these SBCs are specific to your plan. That would be correct.
It says coverage is limited to 60 visits, does that mean that it's 100% covered? Does that mean that?
Well, it's gonna be at a contract rate. It'll go toward your deductible. They've got a
We're still
special
gonna get
contract.
charged the $60?
You'll get charged, but you can utilize your debit card for that.
Because through Anthem, we had 12 free visits where we didn't get charged with $60. So now we're going to get charged for it,
So they gave you 12 free,
12 free a year.
because with an HSA, generally, you're not able to give, that's not part of preventative.
But
So I don't know about that.
Yeah, they gave
Now, are you talking HSA or HRA?
Well, it's an HSA eligible plan is what it's termed. So by having this plan, you could have an HSA, you can have an HRA with any plan. We have an HRA with it, in lieu of an HSA. But it's an HSA eligible plan generally, unless it's preventative, you can't have no charge services towards the plan. So I'm a little surprised, but
Okay, we're gonna have to get this wrapped up because we're late for our next meeting, but how do you feel on the flips?
We've got to do something about it. If it's the FSA, then
Well, if we do a flex, you don't, if it's something we wanna go with, you don't have to. I mean, we'll have to obviously determine the
I'd
plan.
rather, I'll just put $25 in the savings account.
Right.
go on.
I'm thinking what I was asking was the health savings account, the difference in that. So
I think the HSA would be more beneficial.
Yeah.
Than an SA.
because you don't lose that money.
Right.
I think that just doesn't make sense. How you
Yeah.
can pull it.
Point I was trying,
That's-
is it easier, like if you looked at a plan that maybe if you hit that deductible of 3,000, would it be cheaper in the long run for the township? I know they upfront the cost and now they kind of just put X amount of dollars and if we spend it good or don't spend it good. But that overall over time, I'd have to look like the last 4 years, who's used a lot of money and, the cost of everything. Cheaper if they went to that way than rather than.
Saying an HSA?
Yeah, then the reimbursement.
Well, see, again, the problem with it, it's not a problem, but with an HSA, it's a fixed cost.
Correct. So
HRA.
if you had a $3,100 deductible, whatever up front, you had to get that front.
Yeah,
And if that was their contribution, and after that, everything was covered, and then you contribute. And then
You
next year.
you could certainly do it. So let's say, I'll use 100,000 as the amount.
Yeah.
If you prefer, and the average spends 60, 70, and they took that 60 and 70 and put in HSA accounts, and you'd be responsible for the difference. Those that are the high-end users are probably gonna get hit harder because they're gonna have to spend more to get to that out of pocket. Because you're gonna have less total. Otherwise, it's gonna cost township more to fund the same
Yeah,
amount.
like an HSA, we would have to set a dollar amount per person. So say we set, I'm just throwing a number out, $5,000. We're putting $5,000 for every person, no matter what, whether they used 1 penny or $5,000.
Yes, I understand that. Yep.
So that's
And then
where
every
that
year-
fixed cost comes in and, you know, the only,
Those beneficial through lower, it's a lower dollar amount. If it's higher, then it's not really beneficial to you or to the township. You know what I
I think it's the other way around. If the-
mean? I'm thinking money up front.
Oh, okay.
The contribution to the township, yeah, that would.
No matter what, we are still paying that back, correct?
Well, and the other thing within HSA, if the township's putting that in monthly and you get hit with a charge at the beginning of the year, you only got the money they put in, you gotta wait till the rest of the year.
You have to wait until.
The HRA is front loaded, you've got the full amount of money at the beginning of the year. Something major happens, and you've got all that, you got $8,800 available.
But saying like, with a HSA, if I say I want 5,000 on my card, the township puts that on there, but throughout the year, I'm paying that $5,000 back, correct?
Well, no, they wouldn't put
That would be
5,000.
part of a flex spending.
Flex spending could do this.
We,
Not at
that
that
could be done. You could say, I want to take out, $2,000 a year. We divide that up by the payrolls. You do get a card that's front loaded with that $2,000 and you're essentially paying it back with your own dollars that are tax free.
Yeah, it's 0% interest.
Yeah.
HSA, you have the money in the account. You say you got 5,000 in there, you use 4,000, you have 1,000 that carries over the next year. Is how that works with HSA.
But generally, a township's not gonna front load all those HSA dollars and cut a check for 100. They're gonna put so much in each month, a year. So you're only gonna have so much. If something happens at the beginning of the year, you got a shortfall and you gotta wait. So it could have some negative consequences. That all makes sense?
But it still gives us that freedom if we had it, that money would roll over every year, so we're not.
That's
losing it.
It's great if you're healthy. You have no issues and that money sits and it rolls over, but those that use it for a lot of expenses.
Yeah.
You're not gonna ever have any money rolling over. So
Brian, I think your battery.
if anybody's got additional questions, feel free to call me. I'm available all day tomorrow. Just call me direct and we can chat. Okay?
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, appreciate it. I haven't seen you guys.
Bye, Chris.
It was nice to meet in person. Welcome. Chief, it's a pleasure.
Yep.
Anything else, let me know.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll follow. Once we get that out, people can look at that.
Okay.
And then you'll keep us abreast of when that's gonna change
Yeah,
over.
I'll check on it. I'll put the heat on Sean.
Okay. Good.
Obviously.
Do you have a card?
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you right now. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for
Just
doing
see if
it.
I did call for review.
Oh, it did?
They're on.
Maybe you should let them.
It's something about Office 365.
I've got an HSA, I put all
Did
my.
I spell it right?
We'll see what they.
Cheers, huh?
They will load deductible. That's why it benefits.
Plans are lower deductible. It's not pushing the deductible up. It's money.
All right, thank you.
Good to see you. There's a French pot out there.
All I have to do is touch something.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sure.
Randy?
Yeah.
Coffee?
No, thank you.
Oh, I thought it was, yeah.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yes.
I'm trying. I have to get up there and change the flowers on my family's grave. That, my mother would kill me, would find me dead. Are you on?
So.
I know some of these chairs are like. I think it's because that one doesn't have an arm.
Basically not in screening, but.
So, tonight, decided we did not take any action on dropping. So it's.
You just get used to one and get through it and then.
The good thing is we're halfway through the year, so.
So, I hate to think, I think it's medicine. Gotta go through it there.
Yeah.
And.
Right. And they said if we want.
And we were to home, they up at that
Keep
kid.
them on.
I think, right?
Yeah.
I think there was one of them, so it's me.
So she.
Got it during the last meeting.
Yeah, she.
That's still going, so.
I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes. Got a white line outside.
Rick, would you mind asking the chief if this is ready to go so we can start the next meeting? Is that all ready to go?
Yep, we're ready. I left the run. Hannah's on there, I know that.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi there, good to see you guys again.
Good seeing you. Thanks again for coming to the Little Tree Library ribbon cutting.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was definitely very unique and I sent my pictures and everything over to my editor and she was also very intrigued. She said it's really unusual. She hadn't seen anything like that before, so she was also a big fan.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order for May 23rd, 2023. We're getting a bit of a late start at 7:20. Would you please stand for a moment of silence? Thank you. Please join in the pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, justice. Thank you. Roll call, trustee Sheets. Here. Trustee Hunter here, trustee Gibb. Here. Chair situated. Okay, we have no minutes to approve. I will make a motion to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second? Roll call, trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes.
Go on to our departments. Deputy Hamilton has taken a promotion, so we will be getting a different deputy. Maybe next meeting, we'll hear from them. So we'll go on to road department. Rick?
Road department, we finished up old Harrisburg Pike down in there and been mowing roads and Memorial Day preparations, getting all the cemeteries ready. Coming right along on them.
Okay, and we'd had a complaint last meeting from 5155 Norton Road about brush so they could see.
Brought
Coming
it up
out.
to the county, it's their issue, but he contacted them and told them where and everything, and Bill Thompson's the head guy up there at the headquarters, so he's aware of it.
The gentleman called me this morning and he said that they were out this morning, they did it, and they did a very good job.
But Robert told him at that moment, we had our arm mower on, said if you send people down the flag for us, you know, that's on different township roads, so he said, you know, we'll try to help you out with that, because they help us so much, but he said, we'll get it in a few days, so we can see their mower sitting out here now.
Well, they did it.
Good.
And the roundabout at Norton Crop and Grove City Roads is due to start June 5th. That's when the approximate closure will be for 45 days, weather permitting. And the Memorial Day service at Oak Grove Cemetery will be at 1 p.m. West Jefferson VFW will be doing that service. Do you have anything else?
We got mulch down around the Boy Scout flagpole and all that stuff,
Nice.
so that looks a little bit better, and say it's all about mowing now. My legs are ready to fall off from all the weed eating, but we're getting that.
All right, thank you. Okay, we'll go on to Fire Department. Chief Whiting?
Yep, the only thing we really have is our medics still at Braun, getting some issues taken care of. We should be hearing from them in, the next week, and then we had them come down and pick it up because they want us to bring it to them. I said, no, they're your issues. You come pick it up, and then we're gonna go up and make sure that we'll pick it up, and make sure everything's done before we bring it home. So that's about the only thing. We've had a bunch of runs. Weather's been nice. We've been out, got on the water, done a lot of training, working with a lot of people, and we've had a lot of mutual aid runs, helping other departments out. Had a fire out in West Jeff the other day. So that's about it.
Do you know if that credit card issue was taken care of with GoDaddy?
You know what? I emailed David and he hasn't gotten back with me.
Okay.
I told him to call me. I said, and I will give him his number. I didn't want to send a credit card number over through email or.
Can you get into that account?
I'll check and see. I actually, I have, Joe can get into that account. So I gave Joe access to that account
Okay.
to manage our GoDaddy account, just so it's consistent since he's our technology guy. Let him do that.
And we need more than one person to be able
Yes.
to
Yeah.
process that.
And actually, in talks with them, they, Grove City does with all their people, they do a training about, and they're getting me a price on what people emails and spams and thing, and they actually, test their employees periodically. So make sure employees, they do some training, and so they don't open up things that can log up that tie their system up. Yeah. What'd you say?
Security training.
Yeah, there are security things. So, yeah. And they,
That's a good idea.
yeah, they said it's worked really well for them and in trying to protect them because everybody's trying to get into everybody's system. So.
Anything else for Chief? We'll go on to old business. Did you get a copy of this?
Yes, please.
Anything new on the ARPA report?
No, nothing new on ARPA. I'm still waiting on, got that paperwork done, worked through that process. I'm just waiting here. It's a federal government, so. But at least I felt comfortable with what our state guy said. Said we're head and shoulders above everybody else. So,
Okay.
and they haven't came and arrested you yet, right, Randy?
Nope, still
All right,
here.
then we're good.
Okay. Anything else for the chief? We'll move on to old business. Last meeting, we received an email complaint about no water at the Community Gardens Mobile Home Park. Now we have complaint that the water is brown and smells odd. I forwarded the complaint email to Michael Santone with the Ohio EPA. He responded very quickly with iron and magnesium are classified as aesthetic contaminants in that they cause taste and color issues. The PWS has been sent multiple violations for not meeting treatment goals for this at that trailer park. Contractor has provided the owners of the trailer, of the community gardens, an estimate to replace the entire water treatment system. And they have until May 29th to accept the bid. So it sounds like at least the EPA is on top of it. And the last meeting, we received a complaint about a business operating in the area zoned residential at 3233 Georgesville Wrightsville Road, advertising prices for hourly rental for pool parties, weddings, etc. And we received another complaint that they are now renting out a shed. So that's been sent to zoning. Any other old business? A new business. Received a notice from David Smith, the zoning code enforcement, that Kelsey Shires has joined their team as the second zoning officer replacing Sam Morrow. Kelsey has a strong enforcement background and will be an asset to their office and to our areas. And Kelsey will be covering Pleasant Township.
We have a number for her, Nance?
Not at this time, I don't.
Okay,
Don't even have an email yet.
okay.
I'll make sure you get it when I get it.
Okay. Thank you.
And we were notified that Travis Baisden contacted Burnham and Flowers. He believes he earned the full wellness points for 2021, going towards his 2022 deductible. Our wellness rep has since changed. Their wellness rep has changed. And the new rep is not able to verify the points earned in 2021. Report we received shows that Travis earned $275 and his spouse earned $350. His wellness was funded 1,500 of the 2,000 max. They can credit the additional 500 that need our approval. So do you have any thoughts on that? My thoughts would be to credit his account.
Yeah.
Then I will make resolution 33 to give Burnham and Flowers approval to credit Travis Baisden the $500 in wellness points that he earned in 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call. Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good?
Yes.
Any other?
Still on insurance, do we want to drop the healthiest you? And,
Since we got the teledoc.
yeah,
I would say.
and then the EAP that we already have, do we want to keep that?
Well, if the way I understood the way he explained that, the EAP with Aetna isn't really an EAP.
Agreed. We had been talking about the EAP for a minute, just due to zero use. We get a monthly report and never seen that he used it except for one time since we've had. Way I can have them drop just to healthy as you if we want, doesn't really seem like any reason to keep that.
How much is the EAP cost us?
1979 a year.
Almost $2,000.
Yeah, per year. And then the healthiest shoe is $716.
When is the EAP up for?
I don't know.
I think we pay it
think-
monthly.
Yeah, I
We
think
pay
we
it
just
monthly, yeah.
I don't know if there's a contract or an auto renew or any of that, so.
I don't think there is.
What's your feelings on that, Steve?
I don't know. I think let's keep it for a little bit. I want to find out. I don't think he didn't provide it. If they say they got an EAP, they got to have something.
But it wasn't a true EAP. the
I know,
way
but
he-
I'm just curious if he didn't know much about it. I would think they got to have, if they're advertising the ZAP, they got to have some substance to it somewhere.
I agree.
But
Right, if it's just a directory, it'd be advertised as a directory.
yeah,
It said that they have 3 free sessions with a therapist and crisis resources.
well, and that's where I think we just need to explore that a little bit more because he sounded like it was a Yelp website where you get on there and here's where you can get a dog license and everything else. He didn't seem to have very much information because if there is that capability, because most EAPs, you see them a couple times and they refer you somewhere. And if that is the case, then that'll be okay. But I think we
Yeah,
just
that's
need
what
to
it said
explore
on
that.
this little flyer, 3 free sessions with a therapist.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it real good because I was having to do the look around.
I think we just keep what we have for now and then we do a little bit more exploring and see what we can see what they truly do have.
Do you want to do the other? Or
I don't see why we need to keep the healthiest shoe if we've got.
I
one of them.
agree.
so you want to make that a resolution?
Make resolution 34 to terminate our healthiest shoe program. Second.
I'll second that. Roll call, trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good?
Yes.
Okay, anything else under new business?
I have one thing, and I don't know if it's personnel / insurance, and I don't know if you want to go into executive session on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And we'll go on to announcements. This is from Bill Dawson, who did the Little Tree Library. And he's done a lot of work in Ebenezer Cemetery. A lot of work that we don't even realize he's done on his own. He puts a lot of time and planning and organization with all of his contacts to get things done over there. But this is what he posted. It's open. The free little library has been dedicated and the beautification at Ebenezer ME Cemetery in Galloway is complete ahead of Memorial Day. Community, good friends, neighbors, family and supporters all coming together have truly helped with this project to honor our veterans and create beautiful green space to enjoy. The unique tree library made from a century-old oak tree turned out beautiful and functional for all to use. Pleasant Township trustees came by to help dedicate and open it. Janet and Sean organized the Franklin Park Conservatory Women's Board volunteers who helped with the cleanup. The Davy Tree Expert Company, who helped take the tree down to size, was there, represented by Brian Heath. My library building buddies, Keith Dufresne and Paul Hearn were on hand. Friends and neighbors pitched in and also brought books and of course, family there too. I received a partial grant this year for the project through the Columbus Foundation, Franklin County Board of Commissioners, and Scott's Miracle Grow. Please stop by sometime to enjoy reading a book on the bench in the shade, absorb the peace and the flowers and the songbirds, and take in the history of this early 1800 cemetery that holds dear our veterans that served in 5 different wars, including the Revolutionary War. And thank you to all that helped this vision come to life and is a labor of love that brings us together. And we thank Bill for doing that.
Does he live next door there?
Right across
Okay, he lives, right
on
on,
the north side of Johnson.
he lives on the north side, okay. That is really cool, though.
It is.
That is
isn't
really
it?
neat, yeah.
Put something on Township's Facebook about that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go back, because I think I can repost it. So I get fired.
Link it to ours.
I'll do that. So just-
What I just read, I'll look and make sure that's what I reposted.
Okay.
I think I did.
I'm sure you did.
Okay. There's a bunch of pictures.
We'll look.
Any other announcements? Okay, since Paula is absent, I'll just note that the budget is due July 20th, 2023. Okay. Is there anything else? If I have anything? Okay. I think we should have it in one.
I would do, yeah, 1 to 1. Compensation.
Yes. So are you good with the executive session to discuss?
Yep.
I move to go in executive session according to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, for the purpose of discussing health insurance compensation. Do I have a second?
Well, second.
Roll call, trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna have it here if you're gonna take off? But if you're gonna go hide in his office,
Well,
I'm
if
gonna
you
wait.
take off, we'll have it here, but
Well,
anybody wants to stay, we'll have it in
I
his
was
office.
hopeful someone might take me to eat, but
It won't be long.
Well, we can go, we
live in hope, die in an alley, so.
we,
And I'm gonna
we
stop us
can,
for a little
or
bit,
you
okay?
can sit
Then
over
we'll come back.
there, or actually,
It's
We-
grandma's
You're live.
Under the Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G, I move to come out of executive session. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes. All right, so I'm gonna make resolution 35 to increase the employer-funded HRA by $2,000 per employee. And I'd like to authorize me to execute any necessary paperwork.
I'll second that.
Roll call, trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes.
I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, trustee Sheets. Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 2:30.